inches and a foot of snow. So what's a barbecue man to do on a day like today? 20 degrees outside, 6 inches to a foot of snow. I think it's a good day to cook some ribs. Pretty fair amount while we were snow blowing. That's okay. It's gonna take a while. Ready to dump this in Buford. Nice pile of coals. Pile of unlit. Gonna have to add some more charcoal for this weather. You're gonna heat with charcoal and flavor with smokin'licious wood. Got 2 nice big blocks of cherry, a block of hickory. Gonna start out with the hickory and finish with the cherry. Right now that thermometer's just nutted it. Frozen. Alright. Welcome to Smoking with the Swine Syndicate. Today, it's about 20 degrees outside. Got a foot of snow last night. We're getting a light snowfall right now. So a young man's mind turns to firing up the smoker, the offset in particular. Today we're going to be taking some store-bought corned beef. Later in the week we're going to make our own. But you can get a corned beef from the store. If you use one of those, you're going to want to soak it in water to get some of the salt out. Otherwise it's too salty if you just throw it on a pit. Then we mixed up some of Uncle Al's pastrami rub. And we're going to hit the brisket with that. And then we're going to smoke it for a few hours and have ourselves some semi-homemade pastrami. Later in the week we're going to get a fresh brisket, mix up a cure, inject it, brine it, and then have one that will be for corned beef and the other one we'll make pastrami out of. But this was in the fridge and we needed to use it up. And the smoker was already fired up anyways for the chicken and ribs we're going to be making later. So there's no reason to do this, throw this on. We should have room. You want to apply a nice amount of this. A lot of flavor in here. There's some onion powder, some garlic powder, black pepper, coriander, paprika, salt, sugar. You can find a recipe for this at barbecuecentral.com. Today here, I don't know if you can see the snowflakes. Just try on. Do a little more rub. And toss a chunk in the old firebox. Away we go. Now it's on to prep our chicken and our ribs.
We're cooking baby ribs today. We're gonna trim the membrane off, and we're gonna trim anything else that needs to be trimmed, and we're gonna soak it in water, dry it, and then put a rub on.
I like to use a old thermometer. Once I got my Thermapen, I don't need to use this anymore for its intended purpose, so this is a good use for it. I like to go on the bone, get underneath that membrane, pull it up a little bit until I can get my finger underneath. I like to, some people pull their ribs from the ends. I like to do it from the middle. Seems to be a lot easier for me.
Yeah, it does.
And that's one nasty membrane out of the way. And we'll flip this over, see if anything needs to be trimmed up a little bit. Once we have them trimmed the way we want them, then we'll give them a rinse in water. If it's got that cryovac stink to it, we'll hit them with a little bit of vinegar to get rid of that. We're just looking to, we're doing a practice comp run here, so we want to make the ribs nice and presentable.
Yeah.
You can never practice too much.
Yeah, I know why you.
At the very least, we're going to eat good.
Yeah. I actually know why you have to wash them, because of the blood.
And part of the bone chips from when they cut them. There could be bone chips on there. So we're just going to trim this up real nice. Got a big pocket of fat here. We're going to want to trim down some. Look for any of that. There's a membrane there, and there's like a. I got to get my boning knife to get under there to get that little membrane off. You want to kind of trim them down so they're even, so they cook even, so you get nice presentation on them. You don't want to take away too much of the meat, but you want it, the more even the meat is, the better it will, the more even it'll cook. So, this looks pretty good here, but I see there's a little membrane, so I got to get my boning knife. There's this little piece of, it's like a tendon or something, it's silver skin. You want to remove it because that stuff won't cook. This stuff won't cook down. It'll just get tough. You don't want the judges biting in a tough rib. Especially the guys in this house. You'll never hear the end of it if the ribs are tough. Well, that looks pretty good here. Oh, there's another one right there.
What is going on?
And one down. Today, 2 more to go. Usually we got 6 on there, but today we're just cooking 3 of them.
Again, Daddy.
Washed them, rinsed them.
You washed them, rinsed them. You patted them dry. Now you just have to rub them down.
Okay, we've demembraned our ribs, we've trimmed them up some, we've rinsed them in water, we've patted them dry, now we're going to apply our rub. Some people like to put mustard on to get the rub to stick. I don't really care to do it that way. I found that if you get the ribs nice and dry, pat them down with some paper towels, the rub sticks great. This is our rub, this is our comp rub, and no, we're not sharing the recipe. It's a secret. You want to put a little bit on the bone side.
And then you rub it.
You want to gently kind of rub it in. You don't want to rub it too hard because there's pores in this meat. You don't want to plug the pores up. You want that fat to render and baste these ribs. Now don't forget the ends of the ribs as well. Right here on the ends, you want to make sure you get that coated with some rub too. You want it nice and coated.
Can I go now, Mom?
We're going to put this rub on, and we're going to let them sit maybe about a half hour till the rub gets a little liquidy, kind of gets smelling real good, then we'll throw them on the pit. We're going to smoke them with a mix of hickory and black cherry. Both from Smokealicious. I really love their product. It's all heartwood, no bark. It's got the perfect moisture content. You get a real nice smoky flavor. Burns clean. I really can't say enough about that. One of the neighbor's kids, I was burning some cherry. She came over and she said it smelled like cotton candy coming out of the pit. That's how sweet that cherry smells. Can't beat that. Alright. This rack's all nice and rubbed up. I'm going to get the other 2 racks ready to go. And then we're going to throw them on the pit.